Hi everyone, Carrie Hepburn here. I am going to unpack your next unit for writing. It's on how-to books, writing to teach others. So I'm going to go through the bends. I'm going to give you some overviews, some tips for getting ready, show you how I kind of prepare before I get started, and hopefully help set you up for your next quarter writing piece. So first of all, to give you guys a quick overview, this particular unit is 19 days long and it's 4 bends. In this unit, the students are going to write about 3 how-to books in each bend. Each of those how-to books will be about 5 pages long. As they progress through the days in the bends, their pieces will become longer and more proficient over time. So just kind of be patient with it and know that each time the kids are just going to get a little bit better at writing how-to. The heart of the unit, I love this, this is perfect for kindergarten students. So the heart of this unit is really hands-on and an action feel. So the kids are going to kind of go between acting out what they're trying to teach and then drawing it out and then writing it out, and then at times they'll go back as they're reading somebody else's or they're reading themselves and their piece, they're going to try to act it out again. So know that there's going to be kind of a lot of movement and a lot of talk as kids are giving one another feedback and they're trying out the different how-to texts. The kids are going to learn how to break down procedures into steps during this unit. So it's going to be a really fun time for the kids to teach others about how to do something they know. My favorite quote, so when I get started planning for a unit, I start by reading that overview, and my favorite quote is on the Roman numeral 7. It says, "Don't assume that the kids are going to have tons of trouble and break, and then for us to break down their writing into all these tiny steps and then try to coax them through each of those steps." Basically, let's not go back to some of the stuff that we did before and try to give them so much scaffolding that we're doing the work for them and keeping a tight leash on them. Instead, try to get them to say, go try it, and then we'll lean into teaching them what they need to do. So each time they write and draft, you're going to be able to give them feedback, and you're going to be meeting with them in conferences, and during that time you'll help push them so that they are doing the work at higher levels as they progress through the unit. Some tips I want to give you as you start getting ready, just some things to think about. There's several things you're going to want to think about before you get started with this unit, and maybe you've already started some of this work, are preparing your booklets. So spending time with the staff developers, we've learned a lot about how we can use paper choice to scaffold learning for our kids. So it's the easiest way to differentiate instruction for students as writing is offering different types of paper choices. So think about your booklets and give them a variety of paper choices and booklet type choices, some with maybe more lines or less lines, a bigger picture, a smaller picture. The choices are really up to you, but it's an easy way to differentiate instruction for your students. Also, think about the text that you want for your read alouds. I went to some of the old IBD books that we had laying around here, and then some of the old LBD books, and found a couple of examples. This is a Making Butter book that might be from 2nd grade IBD or LBD. And then another book, Clay Creatures, which is about making clay creatures, and that's from maybe a 1st grade kit as well. So there's lots of different how-to books you could think about pulling to give kids examples. You could also look at things like cookbooks, instructions on how to build toys. So there's lots of different things on how to build Lego sets out there, or craft projects. So something else you could think about is taking a book or two, or even just My First Soccer Game, and marking up that text. So when I say that, like one of the things that I do, sorry about that glare guys, is I go through the book using the anchor charts that I've looked at that are going to be in the unit, and then looking at the district scoring guide, the writing continuum, and then the Lucy one. And I go through the book and find different things that I could point out to students. And on the front, I like to have just a list of things that I know this book I can use to teach when I'm conferring with students or just sharing with them in whole groups, like extra examples. So like you can see in this book, it tells what to do in detailed steps. It has numbers for the steps. These are going to be things that the kids are going to see as they progress through this unit. It has a picture for each step. It talks to the reader and gives different tips, and it uses different types of sentences. So when I go through this book, these are all the different things that I have marked up in this book. You can flip through the book and see that I told you here on this section of the book, the author tells us what they are teaching and that the materials that are needed. So that's something that kids would see in a how-to book. So I just marked up the book with different examples of things that this could be used for mentor text. And then last but not least, you're going to want to create a chart of steps for a regular procedure. So it could be like a fire drill or getting ready in the morning or packing up at the end of the day, but something that the kids know really well because you'll revisit that throughout the unit as examples. So here's what I want you to do. All right, and you can pause and revisit this video at any time. As I go through the unit explaining the goals of each bend, it's a good idea to use post-it notes to flag the anchor charts, okay? So I'm going to show you kind of what I do. I start by reading the overview, and then I write down every single teaching point for each unit. You'll see like bend 1, bend 2, bend 3, and then down here is bend 4. So this is not first grade, this is kindergarten, and then I decide what ones I want to plan and rehearse ahead of time. Then another thing that I do is you can see the top, I have all of the anchor charts flagged and what they're called. So you'll see like the how-to anchor chart, they added number 4. I just took some time to do this. This takes about an hour or so to go through and spend time looking at all of these things. So I'm going to go through each bend giving you an overview. Hopefully that will help you get started on your planning. So when I look at bend 1 of this unit, you guys, your big focus is going to be writing how-to books step by step. So that's kind of the big focus for this unit. The kids will study different texts of how-to and narrative and see how they're the same and different. They'll draw and write one step at a time, they'll do that on one page at a time, and then they'll begin writing with clarity so others can follow directions. So page 1, this is what we do. Page 2, page 3. They'll go across about 5 steps. Bend 1 is 7 sessions long, just so you guys know that. So it's 7 sessions. 7 sessions long. Okay? Moving on to bend 2. This is where the kids start using mentor texts for inspiration. So, and then they'll revisit their old how-to books and begin writing new ones, okay? This is from sessions 8 through 12, so it's 5 sessions long during this time. That's where you're going to want lots of mentor texts. The goals are going to be to study mentor techniques and then try those mentor techniques out. So they'll spend a lot of time learning about elaboration. They'll start writing for a reader and they'll make comparisons to give readers clear directions. So those are going to be things that they're going to be studying mentor texts for. Bend 3 is 4 sessions long, And this is where they start keeping the readers in mind. The students will know that topics are everywhere, so they'll start looking for how-to topics all over. They'll begin writing a series or a collection of books for readers on how-to topics, and they'll write easy-to-read books that convey what readers need to know. So they may start thinking about they are really good at playing soccer, so they might develop a text that helps them teach others about playing soccer. And so they'll have a bunch of like how to play defense or how to pass the ball. They can start thinking bigger and more globally as they develop these kinds of texts. And then your final bend is bend 4. And this is 3 sessions long, so it's super quick bend, but it's them thinking about how they can write books for an audience and share their books with an audience, and give those books as gifts to others, that their voice is worth sharing and the work that they're doing is an excellent gift for other people. So, and when they start thinking about the audience, they'll start thinking about the best place to share their book. So if I wrote a book on how to care for a dog, maybe the best place for my book would be in a pet shop. These are just some examples for students. You're going to have an opportunity to have a really great author celebration for the kids at the end of this unit where they can display and share their books with others. So I think it's going to be really fun, and I hope that you guys enjoy it. Thank you.